Pisces, Elsie here to do a reading for you. It is a bonus read, Pisces. How are ya? I'm here doing a bunch of bonus reads this weekend. Try and catch you up with the energies that are going on for the weekend. Pisces, how are you, my water family, my two fishes friends? I hope you're well. Let's figure out what's going on. Pisces, there are a couple of sales on. If you want a private read, don't forget that there's 10% off with a code that is in the pinned comment above at the top, all the comments there. The 10% off is on pre-recorded readings. I do have between 5 and 75% off the live readings. And so take that link to Hypsee there that is in the pinned comment. You'll figure out what's going on. Let's find out what's going on for Pisces. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Tell me about Pisces. In this bonus read, what are the energies for this weekend? And forward, we've got the Four of Cups. We've got the Hanged Man. And we've got the Ten of Pentacles. It feels like somebody here is about to reject something that has to do with the 10 Pentacles. It feels like it's a difficult thing to reject because it has either been standing long term for a while, or it is something that you have benefit off of financially. It feels like whatever it is has been around for a while. It's been like maybe the last 10 years. I tell you what, I feel like after looking at something from a different point of view, that you've realized that there is something here that, although it's been long-term or secure for a long time, and I think it was your decision to get into this, whether this is a business deal or a long-term relationship or moving in with somebody, it feels like you've changed perspective. It feels like with the Hanged Man energy that you're trying now to look at the 10 Pentacles with a different perspective. And I think you're about to change your energy on something here. The Four of Cups tells me that either you've become very bored with the 10 of Pentacles or this long-term thing, or you've been in it for a while and now you're starting to look at things from a much different point of view. I'm just going to say with this little owl in the tree here, owls show up, during the time of death or when something is dying. That tree that the owl is standing on is actually dying. I want to say that this thing is no longer rooted. Whatever this is, that I'm just looking at these roots here, they're above the ground. It feels like something here is no longer rooting you or keeping you stable, or you see that this has been around for a while, but I don't think you're impressed by it anymore. That's what it feels like here. And so it feels as though much of the same. I'm going to say somebody keeps offering you more time, more money, more effort, more energy, more property, and I think that you've just become bored with the whole thing. It feels like you're sort of in a pause while you gain perspective and look at something from a different point of view that you think, is this really what I want forever? Or is this something that is kind of dead in the water? Like, is it, like, the thing is that the value of it doesn't change, understand? There's a lot of money, there's a lot of time, there's a lot of effort or energy, or the job has been there. Maybe you've been at the job for 10 years. Something here is not changing because of the Three Pentacles, but it does feel like you want to move. The Queen of Wands is here. It feels like you're becoming bored, so it's time to make a bold move, but you're sort of looking at things in a perspective of, I'm going to have to end one thing in order to start another, and I'm not really sure that I won't fail, or I won't get hurt, or I won't fall down and scrape my knees, or somebody here is looking at something that is a permanent structure or fixture, and is looking at it like, this is probably the best thing for me. When the Temperance energy is here, it's like something has run its course, or a moment of alchemy before the shift or before the change. Because, it's becoming a little bit toxic, it feels like. Yes, we're headed for a tower, Charlie just said. We're headed for a tower. Card number 14 is the Temperance. 15 is the Devil. 16 is the Tower. So it feels like, I think with this energy of the Hanged Man energy, Pisces, I feel like your intuition is telling me that you're headed for a tower. That you're headed for a financial tower. You're headed for some sort of, I'm just looking at the way these things are broken up here. It's a decision you made, 2 Pentacles, it's a decision you made about your stability. The 3 Pentacles is here. I've been building this for a really long time, but we've got 5 Pentacles here. It feels like something doesn't look like it has as much value as it did before, or maybe it has lost its value. I don't think that the value has changed, to be honest, but I think that you don't see it as being as valuable as you used to. And I feel like with the Temperance here, that you feel that there's change in the air, that a moment of alchemy is coming, that you're going to have to finally give into the ending of something, or the perspective of, we are no longer rooted in this thing, and it's going to be time for me to either reject something or to stop perpetuating the situation. It feels like somebody here is like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I'm just so bored with the way things are moving here. Tell me more about Pisces. It's like you're not even paying attention to it anymore. It could be for somebody who's in a relationship that you're no longer attracted to the person you're with. The Queen of Wands is here, and if I'm being honest, I'm looking at this here. It's like somebody is like, the fire is not enough anymore. What I want is something that is stable and secure and long term. It feels like somebody is like, the fire is, I'm just bored with the fire that you give me. It's like there's no substance here. It's just fire. It's time for me to make a bold move. Tell me more about Pisces. We've got Justice. In order to be able to bring things back into harmony in your life, Pisces, it feels like it might be a legal thing for some of you. This might lead to a legal tower. There's a moment of alchemy where you realize that maybe you have been out of balance because you have not been speaking up. And there's one sword across the shoulders of the person who is on the Justice card. It feels like you've been doing your best to keep everything in balance by not saying a word. But it's time for you to make a bold move, because the moment of alchemy is here and you can't ignore it. When the Temperance shows up, Temperance and Justice are major arcana cards, and the Hanged Man, perspective is necessary, and so is sacrifice. I need to figure out what I need to give up, and if I'm comfortable giving it up, but it feels like there is a part of you that is intuitively, it won't leave you alone. You know that the moment of alchemy is here, and you have to make a decision about something that I feel has been a long-standing thing. A long-term job, a long-term structure, a long-term financial or material wealth, or a long-term relationship. Tell me about the Hanged Man. Why are you in a pause here, Pisces? We've got the 3 of Pentacles. I feel like you've been doing all the work and other people have been watching you do it. Maybe you're exhausted, or maybe you feel like you've been putting a lot of effort, time, or energy into something that you feel that you've been building on your own or alone, and you are no longer getting help from anyone else. You've been working overtime or all the time, and you're no longer getting help from somebody else here. It's creating exhaustion, but it's also, it feels like you know that you could create something bigger, better, you could build quicker, you could create something on your own, but something else is going to have to end before the other thing begins. You have the resources, you have the skills to be able to do it on your own. And if these people are just going to sit here and watch me do this, then maybe I should just be on my own. We've got the 6 of Cups. But I think what keeps you where you are, Pisces, is that I've built a lot of memories here. I've built a lot of memories. There's a lot of nostalgia. You're my friend. You're my person. You're my a person I've been with since I was a kid, someone that I've known for a really long time. I feel like you're allowing someone to get away with something because of the length of time in which you've known them. It feels like a loyalty thing for sure. But I think that your perspective has sort of put you in a place where it's time for you to begin to realize the writing is on the wall. Tell me what this Ten of Pentacles is. What is this Ten of Pentacles, please? We've got the Wheel of Fortune. We've got the Four of Pentacles, and we have the Nine of Cups. You have to stop giving time, effort, and energy into something here. I feel like you're the one who's put all the work into building something up. Something is going to change here. It's inevitable because the Wheel of Fortune is here. Change is in the air, and we've got something it's like you've put up with it long enough, or it's taken a long time to get to this point, because the Wheel of Fortune is the fixed signs, but it's also Sagittarius. So it is time, it's divine timing, or it's destiny that things do change and expand from here. But I feel like it's taken us a really long time to get here. I feel like there is somebody in your midst here who is not flexible, not vulnerable, and not willing to help you, not willing to do whatever it is that they have to do. It feels like somebody is keeping it to themselves or keeping it for themselves, and they're unwilling to change. And I feel like you know that in order to be in alignment, in order to have your wish fulfillment, that things must change. And so I think that you feel that the temperance energy is here. The moment of alchemy is here, where we finally have to look at it. I can't ignore this anymore. I can't just keep holding things in balance for everybody here. I've got to make a bold move because temperance is here. And I feel like first you're going to get perspective. I feel like you're in a pause, because it feels like you're very busy. It feels like you're the one building the foundation and everyone else is watching. It's like you're building the foundation for everyone because you've got all the resources and the tools. We've got the Seven of Swords. We've got the Strength card that's in the reverse, and we have the Six of Swords. It does feel like you know that this moment of alchemy is coming where you're going to have to move on, but you're trying to gain the courage to say something. It feels like there is something that's going on that's under the surface here. Somebody here has been trying to get away with something, and I think honestly what it is that somebody here is unwilling to change. It feels like there is a block, and I feel like the block is the Four of Pentacles. It feels like it's blocking progress. It's blocking change, and without change there is no progress, right? So you cannot progress in your life if you don't make some sort of a really big, bold move to do something that you've always wanted to do. It is going to bring you justice, but it also is going to, I feel like it's going to make everything out of balance. But really with the moment of alchemy coming here, temperance is healing, but it's also a moment in time. This is like the only time when you're going to be able to do this, and it's going to work out the way that you want it, is what it feels like with temperance here. I feel like with the Seven of Swords that there is somebody here who, it's almost like you protect them or you help them because they're not courageous enough to move on their own. So you are sacrificing the self in order for someone else to have their comfort. Tell me about this Queen of Wands. It feels like you do want to make some sort of an independent, quick move here, but you know that it's going to disrupt the scales. It is something that is possibly legal. Maybe you need legal counsel. Maybe it's something that has to do with a legal case. But you have to make some sort of a big move. What is this? We've got the King of Pentacles. We've got the World card. And we've got the Page of Swords. So it feels to me like you are looking at something from a distance. You're observing someone. I feel like the bold move that you're going to be making has to do with finances, a job. It feels like you have been moving really slowly toward, I want to say that you can't hold it down anymore. You can't hold it back. imminent. It's like when the world shows up here, major arcana, it is the end of a cycle or a chapter. And I feel like the King of Pentacles, somebody here has to make a big financial move, or they have to make a big move toward another job or toward their independence. Something here is over. I think that you've observed something long enough here, Pisces. You've observed something long enough. The Page of Swords is here with the World card. You've observed the ending. It feels like you're sitting there thinking, if this does come to an end, how do I get my balance back? Because a moment of alchemy is coming, and the Tower is in the distance. It's inevitable. And you know that you could just sit here in your comfort zone, but I feel like you know that if you do, something is going to fall in. Tell me about this Four of Cups here. We've got the Sun. We've got the Ten of Cups. And we've got the Chariot. You've come to a realization that I feel that you would be much happier if you were to move forward on your own and get your own balance here. It feels like a discipline. Yeah, you need to discipline your happiness. It feels like there is some sort of a breakthrough here. You've realized that you're bored in the situation. You feel like you're not growing here, that the Wheel of Fortune is blocked. It's blocking your alignment. It's blocking your wish fulfillment. The only reason that you're staying where you're staying is because somebody here is holding you there. You're holding the scales. And if you should leave, you're worried that this person doesn't have the courage to go out on their own. We've got the Ace of Cups. We've got the Judgment card in the reverse. And we've got the Tower in the reverse. Look, it's inevitable, Pisces. It's coming inevitably, and it could be possibly for some of you in the next 8 weeks, some of you in the next 6 days. When the Tower shows up in the reverse, it's like you can't avoid it. It's a shot fired in the air. It's a warning shot. That you have misjudged a situation and that you have forced the balance of something. You have forced the balance, but I feel like you've caught on and you've realized that if you don't move forward independently, that once things start in motion, so once Temperance begins, card number 14, then comes next card number 15. It's going to be harder and harder and harder to get out of the clutches of some sort of codependent relationship or codependent situation. And then what comes next is the Tower, card number 16. So it's inevitable when the Tower shows up in the reverse that in the next possibly 8 weeks, 9 months for some of you. I mean, it could be 4 years for some of you. We're looking at a general reading, so time frames are all over the place because it's for a bunch of different people. Could be a month, but it feels like this has to do with the Ace of Cups. So we could be talking about a relationship, a marriage. We could be talking about something that is going to hurt your heart. You've misjudged the heart of someone, the emotions of someone. It feels like with Judgment in the reverse, there is a really a misjudgment that is going to lead to an absolute Tower here. If you don't remove yourself from the situation, Pisces, it feels like the Tower falls. And it doesn't matter whether at that point, whether you're holding the scales in balance or not. I feel like everything sort of obliterates and falls to the ground. Tell me what this Tower is, please. We've got the Lovers. We've got the Lovers. The Nine of Swords. And the Five of Wands. So we're already arguing and fighting about this. I feel like somebody here is living in a workplace that's toxic, a relationship, or something here that we've agreed on. I've chosen it. I've made the decision. The Lovers is a choice. and it feels like I choose to stay even though there is arguments and fight and battles, and I feel like it's wrecking your mental health at this point, is what it feels like. It's time to go because I have misjudged this whole situation, that this is not at all what I thought it was going to be, and the tower is about to implode. So whether you're trying to hold this together or not, I feel like it is inevitably coming to an end where everything shifts. And what's happening here is that you're in this long-term relationship or long-term job, and I feel like you're being blocked. Your wish fulfillment is being blocked because you made this decision that I feel like you're realizing now that you made this decision about the Ten of Cups that you don't want anymore. It feels like there has to be discipline in your emotions. I need to get everything in order to move forward and get a victory. I have to discipline my feelings about the situation. Something's under the surface that's coming to the surface. Tell me what the outcome is for Pisces. We've got the Ace of Wands. We've got the Eight of Cups. And we've got the King of Swords. Yeah. So it does feel like that there is somebody here who's coming to a truthful and honest place. I'm really looking at the details and the facts here. I'm going to do this head over heart, but it feels like somebody here has already detached from the situation. That you realize that this is inevitably coming to a place where everything is going to implode, and it's going to catch you in the fallout if you don't, with the Ace of Cups, open up some sort of a new path and take action, get going here to disconnect from this. I feel like you need to pull back your energy just a little bit here and look at it for what it is. The Fool is here because there's a chapter here that is closing with the World card and a new chapter is opening, and I feel like you get caught in the rubble of the Tower because there's something here that you have to move forward. The Wheel of Fortune is here. You must, but there is a block at this time blocking your wish fulfillment. So it feels like although you're holding it all together, I feel like it inevitably comes to an end. I'm sorry to tell you that. The Knight of Cups is here. It could be something that has to do with romance, but it also could be something to do that says here that you have been slow to put up your boundaries, that you're a person who really needs to do the right thing and get some boundaries in place at this point, because I feel like you've been in some sort of what you call a soulmate connection, but I love them, but it's a soulmate connection, and it feels like all this is arguing and fighting, and someone is being really like they're dismantling your mental health at this point. Or maybe this is someone around you, but it feels like you need better boundaries in terms of your emotional self. In terms of the Knight of Cups, it feels like you're very slow to put up these boundaries. Knight of Cups is passive energy, but it could be in terms of romance. There is a new beginning coming, and whether you stay long enough to be caught in the Tower or not is completely up to you. I'm going to leave that right there. Thank you so much, Pisces, for being here and watching. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I'm always back. You guys take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.